A big part of what's going to happen today is you're going to have an assignment at the end of the day about what you're going to do when you go back to your site. So part of what we're going to talk about today, I'm going to ask you to do a lot of analyzing what these behaviors of students look like in your program. I'm not going to give you opportunities to talk about staff responses, because that's the conversations we want you having at your sites. That's the culture shift we want to start happening at your sites. We don't want it to be you've got that 15 minutes as you're waiting for the clock to turn over, and you're just standing there talking. I mean, it's okay if you're standing there talking about what's going on in your lives too, but we want you to understand these are the kind of conversations we want you having daily. You know, it shouldn't be, we got to have a big sit-down meeting once a month to talk about behaviors. That's where you're talking about big stuff. The stuff where you're going through these kind of things on a daily basis, where you're able to go, hey, you know what, did anybody notice that right before Johnny kind of got really upset earlier today, he was tapping a lot? Did anybody else notice that? What should we do tomorrow when we see that? Okay, those are the conversations you're having at your sites. So we're going to move now into what staff do as an approach to being the students in the supportive, students feeling anxiety and staff moving into a supportive response. This is the one that we feel staff really need to analyze differently in themselves, because it feels sometimes counterintuitive to the student that's having reoccurring behaviors. Okay? The idea behind being supportive is literally just an empathetic, non-judgmental approach attempting to alleviate the anxiety. All of us feel anxiety. The important lesson we need to teach kids who go through anxiety on a regular basis is how do they cope with it? Not how do you get out of a situation when you've already gone off and now you're throwing and kicking and punching. Okay? There's important skill sets to learn there too. We want to get it to stop before it even gets to that stage. That's where you come in. Okay? This is a huge opportunity we have to revolutionize kids' lives that deal with escalating behaviors. Okay? So let that soak in a minute. You have an opportunity to change kids' lives so that Corey's not getting ticked off when they're driving on the road and flipping the bird to their neighbor as they're driving by. I'm counting on you, okay? So, staff approaches, examples. Helping the student to be successful. Essentially what that means is it's a whole different mindset, okay? When you've got little Johnny who walks into your room every day, and the first thing he does when he walks in is he starts just picking at other kids, okay? That's anxiety. It's very easy to go, Johnny, we talked about this. Is that supportive? No. Okay? I don't know what necessarily it looks like to be supportive for Johnny. I don't have the answer for that. You do. Because you know Johnny. You work with Johnny. Every single day you're learning more about Johnny. And you're going to help Johnny so that he doesn't have to walk in the room every day and start picking away at kids. Because all that you're doing in that situation is potentially starting the energy matching for them. You've already escalated. They haven't even gotten there yet. Now all they got to do is go, hey, look, they're ready for me. Let's go. We're off. So you need to really think about switching that mindset, especially for those kids that every single day you feel like you're having the same conversation. If that's the case and you're in that mode, have a conversation every day with your staff about that kid. Start being proactive. Redirection. For those of you who aren't familiar with the term, it's literally things like if you've got a student who's doing the picking, it's literally just trying to get their minds in a different concept. So maybe you're walking up and you're going to say, hey, Johnny, tell me about your day, man. Or, hey, did you catch that game last night? Wasn't that cool? Just literally get their minds off of whatever it is that's creating that anxiety in them. Okay? Behavior plans. The reason we put that on here is because sometimes your behavior plans can go back to those early stages of anxiety. I'm not going to talk a ton about behavior plans today because we could set up a whole different training just on that concept. But the idea with being supportive in behavior plans is thinking of strategies that your staff can do to help students be proactive and to correctly identify anxiety in themselves and redirect it in themselves. Examples, I know we've done some of these with some of your different sites with different kids. It can be things like when you notice a student is starting to get to that point that they're doing a lot of interruptions, or starting to get some kind of snotty attitudes going back to staff, their anxiety's building. It could literally just be, you know, hey Stace, just... But you already had a conversation with Stacy outside of the room telling her, remember, hey, I'm here to help you. I want you to be successful in our program. I don't want us to get to the point that we're into a screaming match at the end of the day. So when I feel like you're getting there, I'm not going to expose you in front of your friends. I'm not going to call you out in front of everybody else. We're going to have our own internal little thing that we know what it means This is my way of just reminding you, I'm here to help you. I'm trying to help you get through your day in the right way. Okay? So that's where you can implement things in the behavior plans. That could be, hey, if I had to remind you, once today, and you got out of it okay, you're getting a star for today. You get 2 stars by the end of the week. Well, whatever. You make it up your plan. You're going to get whatever the reward is that we're working on, because I'm here to help you. Okay? Even simple reminders. Sometimes all it can take is just an opportunity to listen. One of the exercises, I've never actually done this, but I think it's always kind of funny. One of the exercises that they teach us when you go through the CPI training with this is that as you're talking about anxiety, you're supposed to have a table full of pop cans. And you ask the room, okay, give me some examples of anxiety behavior. And every time somebody says an idea, you shake up the can. Then you put the can back on the table, you play the little mixy match game, and then you tell somebody to come on over and open it. Oh, pick a can and open it. That's essentially what you deal with every day. You don't know what they're coming in the room with. They could have had a whole bunch of these before they even got to you. They could have that in the morning. They could already be coming in with a whole bunch of these before they ever got to you. And all you had to say was, hey man, how's the game last night? I didn't get to watch the game last night because I got in a fight with my brother, and I'm still ticked off about it, so Mom didn't let me watch the game. How do you think the response to, hey, how was the game last night was going to be? Yeah, but would you know that? No. But if they start moving into an anxiety behavior because you asked that question, here's a really good opportunity to be like, hey man, just asked you how the game's going. Come on here, come talk to me about that. Why did you get so upset about that? But sometimes, especially with that kid that walks in every day, and you never know what to expect, it's, oh, okay, hey, we're not getting into that today again, are we? Is that supportive?
No.
Okay. Draw on your knowledge of the students. What do you think is going to make them feel better? And again, this is so hard. We talked about this so much last year at the inclusion team level. When you've got kiddos that are dealing with this, it's sometimes really hard to think, I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that they don't escalate up the chart. In this stage, I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that they are going to figure out the right way to appropriately deal with their anxiety. And that's really hard sometimes, because sometimes you're just fed up, and that's okay. But talk about it. Talk about it with your team. If your team needs to know, hey, every morning gang, I don't know what to do anymore. I'm done. Well, good. That happens. It's going to happen. It's happened to me. It's happened to your colleagues. Have conversations with your team about it and let somebody else take over. That's fine. We got a lot of staff here who'd be fantastic if we put you in the site by yourself, but we don't do that. This is a big reason why. Plus the state tells us we can't. So, energy matching now. You've got a student who's starting to go into the anxious level. Okay? This is an opportunity where you need to role model the appropriate energy level that you want that student to display. The student wants you to match them. You need to show them, no, come on back down to me. Give them that opportunity. Okay? So, getting into this stage, students are starting to get into an anxious level. Just call out, what are some things that staff could do to help get that energy level back down to where they want them to be? What can you do to help show a student where you need that, where you want them to be in the energy?
Talk calmly.
Sure, yeah. If you've got a student who's starting to get elevated, and you say, hey, can you think for a minute? I got to talk about something.
Yep, I see.
Okay? It's really hard to come right back at that person with, no, I don't want to! Well, they might still say that, but, you're still at least role modeling for them where you want them to be. Good. Other ideas? Yeah. It shows them that you care. If you're going to bark at them from across the room, it shows like, I don't really have time for you. But if I'm going to say, come here, let me talk to you about that. Hopefully your knees don't crack like mine just did. That's going to show them a lot about you going that extra mile to show them that they really are important to you. That's good. One more.
Redirect.
Sure, yeah, just even simple redirection. Yeah, that I'm not even going to get into this match with you.
Yeah.
Yep, and it's not worth our time, so you know what? Hey, let's talk about something else. Yep, absolutely. Good. Okay, so getting this concept of this first stage, kind of this soaking in a little bit about anxiety and supportive. I'm going to ask you a question. I don't want you to respond. I'm just going to let you soak this in for a minute on where the team has been struggling. Do you feel, thinking about yourself, thinking about your site, thinking about our program, that this is an area we need to improve upon? Don't answer. Just think about the answer. Is this something that we as a program could be better about? To be perfectly honest, as a society, could we be better about this? Okay? Okay, we're going to go next into the next stage. So now we're talking about the student is moving into the defensive model, and staff response is directive. Okay? This is the one that I think you probably get. It comes very naturally. Things seem fluid and normal in this stage. So examples of student behavior. The beginning stage of a loss of rationality. At this point, an individual often becomes belligerent and challenges authority. Examples of what that might look like. They're starting to get into just challenging behavior. So, okay guys, everybody, it's time to go wash our hands. No, I don't wanna. Okay, is there any reason we have to have that conversation? No, they're starting to lose their rationality. But we now have an opportunity for how we respond. They're starting to show inappropriate actions or words. They're getting disruptive, non-compliant, becoming passive-aggressive, or they could completely shut down. Again, I want to make sure that you don't always identify this as the loud, outgoing kid. This could be the kid that just literally goes and sits down. This is not going to even talk. Okay, that still fits this stage. I want to do the same exercise here again. Talk at your tables quickly about what this level looks like at your site. We're not at the top yet. They've moved from anxiety into now they've lost some rationality. We're not at the top yet, but we're in that middle zone of their escalating quickly. Okay, so what does that look like at your sites? I'll give you roughly 3 minutes.